and this is a station where we inform you, inspire you, and of course, ignite you. Well, today's topic is no other than financial literacy. Yes, financial literacy. And I will not be the only one to do justice to it. I have an expert in the studio, and I'm talking about Mr. Ojo Ayokunle. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you doing, sir? How's
I'm
been
very
your day?
well, and you?
Very well, sir. Very well, sir. All right. Have you ever received money and wondered where it's disappeared to before the month ends? The problem is not fetish. It could just be you lack financial literacy. So, and that will take me to the first question, sir. To you, what is financial literacy?
Financial literacy is literally the knowledge of how money works, right? So it is the knowledge, the education, and the execution of how money works. So there's a difference between you just necessarily having to know money or use money and then understand how money works. So it is how to understand how money works. That is literally what financial literacy means.
Now, most times I've heard people when they talk about financial literacy, they want to talk about budgets.
Okay.
Does it work hand in hand?
All right. So budget is the foundation to building a good financial life, right? Because you see, budgeting is you allocating what is required for each form of expenditure you need to make as a person. So yeah, budgeting and financial education literally goes hand in hand. Budgeting is like the bedrock foundation.
Thank you. But sir, do you think I need to have a particular form of job or occupation, profession? Like how much can I earn before I can say I want to start budgeting?
Okay. Budgeting is for everyone, literally,
Okay.
right? You need to understand that spending before you save, you will eventually need to be saved by your friends. If you are spending before you save,
You will
right,
eventually be
you will
saved
eventually need to
by
be
your
saved
friends.
by another person, and that is you transferring your financial responsibility to another person. So budgeting helps you mitigate risk. It helps you focus on the necessary things that you need as a person. So it brings you to that place where you have to weigh your preference. There's something in economics that is called the scale of preference, opportunity cost. It helps you weigh the opportunity cost, and then you focus on the necessity, the compulsory, not just the necessity, the things that are compulsory, the needs, not the want. You know, many people spend on the want and not the needs. Yeah, so budgeting helps you, focus on spending on the needs, your food, your shelter, right, your transportation, and not shawarma, not going to the club, or so yeah, that's what budgeting helps you to achieve as a person.
Thank you, sir. You said something about need and want.
Okay.
Now, in a situation where I already know my need, and before the salary comes in, I have the budgets and all.
Yeah.
Now, when the salary comes in, what if something springs up and also it is also a need? What do I do in that situation?
All right. So when it comes to unexpected expenses, yeah, in your budgeting you also factor that in. It is called miscellaneous, right? So you need to factor that in into your expenditure, into your budgeting rather. So what you necessarily need to do is still you weighing your cost, opportunity cost. You need to look at what can go for what, because you see, your expenditure is not fixed, but your income is fixed.
Okay.
So you need to know what needs to go for the other for you to be able to, be able to sort that need that is also a miscellaneous.
Now, do you think it is only people who have a white collar job or even entrepreneurs can do budgeting? Now, how much do I need to earn as a salary before I can budget?
So necessarily you don't need to be a certain kind of person for you to budget. Budgeting is literally for everybody, right? You see, whatsoever you don't, if you fail to plan, then you have planned to fail. So if you fail to budget, you have budgeted to fail. That is just how it works. So, and then you must be very, very intentional with your financial life. As a student, as an entrepreneur, stay at home mom, you don't need to be a kind of person for you to literally budget. Budgeting is for everybody. Even the country where you are staying, it has a budget.
So you're saying that even if I earn 30,000 naira, I can still budget.
Even if you earn 500 naira, you need to budget.
Now help me, sir. How do I break 30,000 naira down when it comes to budgeting? What are those things that you think are the most important thing that I should consider when budgeting?
All right. So I'll say 3 or 4 key things. Yeah. Your food, feeding. 2, shelter. 3, transportation. 4, consumables, airtime, data. Right. Those 4 things are more of essential needs than 5, clothing.
But you never mentioned charity or family.
Okay. you want to shake a table there. Okay, so when it comes to charity or family, you have to also schedule how to give to them.
Okay.
Because we are in an era whereby you begin to pay black tax, which is unhealthy for your financial future and your financial life. Okay, so if you know that you're earning 30,000 naira, and in a month you need to get, literally all these things boils down to you even understanding where you're going as a person, your purpose. So it reflects.
Okay.
You won't live your life in a certain kind of way.
Yeah,
You
that's
won't
true.
have preferences to make expenditure in some certain kind of direction. So if you are earning 30,000 naira, it is even expected of you. Someone earning 30,000 naira should not even be thinking of rent. Maybe because you are in Ibadan, maybe rent is quite. Let's just assume the person is squatting, right?
Okay.
So you're squatting with someone. So shelter, your roof shelter is off it. So you should be looking at your feeding. Should not be a liability to, where you're
Yes.
staying in this context. And then you should be looking at your transportation, and then you should be looking at appearing very
Nicely?
presentable, and then others you can save, depending on your.
I mean, you mentioned it. I was going to say, aren't we missing something? Saving.
Yeah, savings is very, very key. Like I said, if you don't save, then you'll be saved by another person financially, right? So so you save, right? So like I said from the top, feeding, right? Transportation, clothing, savings, very, very key. You need to really cut down on your appetite for the things you want, because if you don't do that, you will cut your financial destiny short.
Thank you, sir. Now, what do you say to this scenario? Because I've heard it over time, where people say, "Oh, I go to meet this person for assistance," and then the person said, "I am done with my budget for this month. Come the following month." Some people tell me to be them being wicked. What do you have to say to this?
All right, so like I said, your financial journey is personal, right? And you see, when you go broke, those that you give to will still abuse you that you are broke. So it is wise for anyone that has a budget and adhere strictly to it. So if you come and meet me and I tell you I'm off my budget for this month, and you feel a certain kind of, if you have it, you don't need to come and meet me.
If you have it,
If you
don't
have it,
to
you
come
don't
meet
need to
me.
come meet me.
True.
Right? So it is the absence of you having the money that brings the presence of you coming to me to ask for the money. So, and I told you, I have a budget I'm working with, and I've adhered strictly to it, and I've exhausted my budget for the month, and you've been dramatic about it. That's how.
So in a situation where I go outside my budget and I still remove to give to that person, are you also saying that I'm financially illiterate? Because
you are financially endangering yourself, because you see, you are picking from a purse to sort something that will not bring any ROI. ROI means return on investment. Charity will not give you ROI. You have to think in naira and kobo whenever you're spending. If you're not thinking in naira and kobo and you're thinking or you're doing emotional spending, that is emotional spending.
Emotional spending. Yes.
Emotional spending will necessarily make you extremely broke. Emotional spending brings financial brokenness. Stop emotional spending as a person. If you are listening right now, stop. I'm telling you, stop emotional spending, because
if you are listening outside there, of course I know you are. Stop emotional spending. Please, can we hammer it again?
Stop emotional spending.
All right, you've heard it from Mr. Ayokunle. Do not forget you can also be part of this conversation, and the studio lines to call. Oh, we have hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling us from? Oh, sorry. Would love you to call us back, and the studio lines to call once again. Do you have? All right, the studio lines to call once again are 0704 700 3969 or 0704 700 2969. We'll be expecting your call, but for now, we'll go on a short break. We'll be right back.
Oxygen FM 96.9 Ibadan.
Ibimo, Ibito, Ibi-Mira. The Knowledge Hub, breathing knowledge.
Your station, your heartbeat. Oxygen FM 96.9 Ibadan. Oxygen FM 96.9 Ibadan.
Ibimo, Ibito, Ibi-Mira. The Knowledge Hub, breathing knowledge.
All right, welcome back. This is still the Youth Arena on Oxygen FM 96.9. And of course, I have my guests in the studio, Mr. Ojo Ayokunle. Thank you for joining us once again.
You're welcome, sir.
Yes, sir. And together we'll be looking at this topic, financial literacy. So now, my next question will be, what would you say is the biggest financial mistake that young people actually make?
All right, the biggest financial mistake any young person make out there is first spending before saving. Spending without a budget, number one, and then spending without savings. And what bets spending without a budget or without saving is necessarily not having a budget. What bets spending without savings is spending without a budget, because you see, a budget would create an allocation for you to save, right? So that is the first mistake. Number two is to, I mentioned it earlier on, is to go in for their wants, spending on wants and not needs. You need to spend on the essentials: your shelter, your food, your transportation, your airtime, right? Your consumables, right? So you need to spend on that, what you need. If it is not needed, then it's really not needed.
So, okay, in a situation where the amount I budget for, let's say, feeding, now before the end of the month skyrocketed. Let's say, for example, I budget say 20k for feeding, and then because of the high cost of things in the market, I got there and I realized that all I needed to like spend is 30,000 naira. What do I do in that situation? So will I still stick to the budget and starve myself?
All right, so two things. You have two options. You either create a dynamics to maintain your budget, reduce your appetite to eat, or at times you could even budget 20,000 naira for feeding and it's not even inflation. You just have unexpected guests, and
Sure.
boom, your budget skyrockets.
Or you're craving? What do we say to that too?
Well, for me, cravings, it exists, but it's something that, like I said, this issue of finance is deep. It first starts from the sense of your purpose. When you understand where you are going, there are some things that will be luxury for you to be able to afford, right? So, like I said, you need to watch your appetite, and then secondly, you increase your budget that will affect your savings.
Now, thank you. What are those things that you would say? Because to me, I want to believe peer pressure as well can also affect the way people save at times. And this is what I'm trying to say. In a situation where you see Mr. Yokunle doing this thing, then we have the same age range and all.
Yeah.
I might also want to do it.
Okay.
Not because I cannot afford it. Of course, maybe I even earn more than you do.
All right.
So what do you say to that?
So it's not hard. I have this policy. Whatever I cannot buy 3 times, I cannot afford to buy 3 times, I don't use it.
I would like you to help us break it down.
Okay, so let's take for example, I want to buy a phone.
Okay.
If I cannot afford to buy that phone, 3 pieces of that phone at a go, I can't afford it.
With a just 1 month salary, is that what you're saying?
Okay. Let's just say you want to purchase. Let's say you want to purchase. Let's just say you want to purchase anything. So whatever you want to purchase, if you cannot buy 3 of that particular thing, then you can't financially afford that thing.
Okay.
Right. So, and speaking to peer pressure, you see, association is very powerful. I always tell people, your circle determines what circulates in your destiny. Your circle determines what circulates around you, right? So you need to look for people of like minds.
Okay.
You need to look for people of like minds. If you say, oh, peer pressure, there are people that they love savings. You need to find friends that loves to save and start like a saving challenge.
Okay. Saving challenge. Now, I am still coming back. But
Okay.
once again, do not forget you can also be part of this conversation. And the studio lines to call are 0704 700 3969 or 0704 700 2969. Now, let's look at it from this angle. Talking about peer pressure again. I've had a situation where 2 friends, maybe one earn 100,000, and then for the person actually save, let's say, 10,000 every month. And because you know what you want to do with your money, and then the other one who earns 80,000 naira, you also want to save 10,000 naira. Now, is it financial risk or financial brilliance?
Both are doing financial mistakes.
How do you mean?
All right. So, because number one, in any of your income, you need to spend from 50% of your income.
Okay.
Right? You spend 50, you save 30. Right?
You spend 50.
Yes.
You save 30.
Yes. Then the 20 comes under giving, miscellaneous, and the likes.
Okay. All right. Now, let's narrow it down to students, because
Okay.
it's easy to say, "Oh, I have this monthly salary coming in for me," but students, I mean, you don't even expect it. Oh, they are telling you to pay for handout. They're telling you to do this. They're telling you to do that. Can students actually save? Should students also have budgets?
Yes, students can save. Students can have a budget. As a matter of fact, everybody needs to have a budget. So the thing there is this. I always tell people, when you are awake, when you are so conscious about your financial life is when you are awake. That's the morning of your financial journey. When you begin to take audit of the money that comes in and goes out from your hands, right? So that is the morning of your financial journey. And you don't jump ranks, you don't skip levels, right? So as a student, you need to look into what is essential for you to pay for.
Okay.
Take, for example, you have handouts, you have literally, as a student, everything is provided for you. I have friends that when we left school, they bought lands, because you see, even as students, they were running side hustles. You don't leave your financial destiny to what your parents is able to afford to give to you.
Learn to be independent.
You need to be independent. If you are very, very intentional about your financial journey, you need to be very, very independent.
But not everyone has this grace of trying to get a side hustle.
Being independent does not have anything to do with grace.
Okay. Yes.
Being independent just has to do with you being conscious of your future and taking practical, ideal, and legal steps to get in there. You see, I always tell people, little drops becomes an ocean. When you begin to cultivate the habit of savings, you begin to cultivate the habit of first budgeting, savings, then you can now start beginning to build an investment portfolio to make your money work for you.
Okay.
These things are in levels. When you master budgeting and you are already saving, so with mastering budgeting, budgeting will cause you to save. And when you have saved to a particular degree and you look like, and your savings is beginning to look juicy to you to want to spend and say, oh, I've deprived myself for XYZ number of days. Some people are so foolish. They will save from January to December and then use it for dirty December.
Please, can you say that again? Please say that again.
Some people are just so very foolish. You save from January to December. You do 5 ajo. 5 contribution.
Okay.
From January to December. You collect the money and you now use the money for dirty December. And then in January you are now singing maybe one.
No, the highs will be clear by January.
Yeah, one messy song.
They'll be doing clean
and be
January.
going to from one mountain to the other. 21 days prayer and fasting. You see, for you to make Elon Musk is not doing prayer and fasting, sir.
Okay.
He's the richest man on the planet Earth with over $1 trillion. Over $1 trillion in net worth. So he is not doing prayer and fasting. He has built system. You see, money is a game. You need to learn the rules of playing the game.
The rules of playing the game.
Exactly.
Yes.
Money is a game. You need to learn the rules of playing the game. So in playing the game, you will learn to master the rules and then use the rules to your advantage.
Okay. Now, speaking of game and
Okay.
the rules.
Okay.
Now, for every game, there's always a rule.
Yep.
Now, for you now, when it comes to money, being a game and then it has rules,
Yeah.
what would you say are the rules? That will take me to the next question.
Okay. The rule of money is very simple, right? First, you need to understand that money has. You want us to go deep into the subject matter. Money has a spirit. Money has a soul. and money has a body.
Spirit, soul, and body.
Exactly, just the way you are. The spirit of money is mammon,
Okay.
right? The soul of money is value. The body of money is currency.
I hope you're jotting things down, listeners. Okay. I'm with you, sir.
So the spirit of money is mammon. That's where you hear people make statements like money is a spirit. They know what they're saying. The soul of money is value. Wherever you provide value, money automatically responds.
Wherever you provide value.
Exactly. Money
Money
automatically responds.
Okay. I'm with you, sir.
And then the body of money is currency. That is the note. So if you are living at the level of money, and then the level of money, which is the body of money, is the lowest in the hierarchy of these three that I've mentioned. That's why I said money is a game.
All right. There is this saying that, like you said, money is a spirit, but people tend to use it in another way. That money wants people that want it. Now, when I want money and then I'm not seeing money, what do we say about that? Is it that, okay, I'm not working towards getting it? Or the little that I have, I'm not just wise about it?
When you want money, give value.
When you want money,
Give value.
now, coming to value, most people believe that, okay, value has to do with probably offering a service or getting a job. Is it just that? Is it about just giving services out or getting a job? Is that where value only comes from?
Well, those are forms of value. Value is that thing you do in exchange for money. In very simple terms, right? And when you are at any point doing anything in exchange for money, you're giving value. The comedians make you laugh. You buy their ticket. That's the value, right? The musicians make you happy whenever they sing to you. Happiness, there is the value they give. That's why you have to pay some certain people in some form of millions before they come and perform.
Absolutely.
So your value can be tangible and intangible. Me being speaking here, I'm giving value. Because if you come to my consultation session, a 1 hour session is 70,000 naira.
Wow.
So if I'm doing it for free, I know I'm doing value for free. If I'm doing it for fun, I know I'm doing it for fun. If I'm doing it for funds, I know I'm doing it for funds. But like I said, wherever value appears, there is money.
In appearance also.
So understanding the game of money will let you understand that first, to attract money, you have to build value. Dangote is not looking for money. Otedola is not looking for money. They've built values and system that attracts money.
True.
So you need to look out for that one thing that you can make valuable in the marketplace to attract money.
You need to look for that one thing that you can make valuable to attract money. In my simple term, I would say
I would like to add to that.
Okay.
You know, at times we necessarily overlook the little natural abilities that we have.
Yeah, I was going to say discover yourself.
That is why I said it's all about purpose. So in discovering purpose, you will first master yourself.
Who am I?
Yes, there is a session in one of the business school sessions I went for. It's called personal mastery. It said the best thing for a man to do. That quote says, know thyself, know thyself, know thyself.
The best thing
For you to know what to do, you need to know what not to do. I hope I'm not making noise, sir.
No.
So for you to know what to do, you need to know what not to do. And when it comes to finance, you need to know that you're not spending on wants. You need to spend on needs. So by the time you now discover that value, there is a reasonable substantial amount of money that is available in your savings purse to at least kickstart that value that you've discovered to be able to empower it in form of capital to eat the marketplace.
Thank you. And this will take me to the next question. You said something about capital. I've heard of a lot of people, most especially entrepreneurs, when they want to start a new business, they'll always go like, oh, I don't have enough capital to start this business. Before you answer the question, now, my question will be, what do you have to say to those people? But before you answer this question, once again, the studio lines to call are 0704 700 3969 or 0704 700 2969. We'll go on this short break. By the time we come back, we'll continue with the program. Stay tuned. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Your station, your heartbeat. Oxygen FM 96.9 Ibadan. Oxygen FM 96.9 Ibadan.
Ibim, Ibit, Ibilera. The Knowledge Hub, breathing knowledge.
Thank you for staying tuned. This is still the Youth Arena on Oxygen FM 96.9, the station where we inform you, inspire you, ignite you. Of course, my whole name is SEYIFUNMI, AKINNSANYA, and I have my guest in the studio still with me, Mr. Ojo Ayokunle. Thank you for being part of the conversation once again.
You're welcome.
Alright, before going on that break, I asked a question about people who would love to start a business and then they are always like, oh, I don't have enough capital. I want to have this certain amount of money before I proceed into this business. What do you have to say to people?
So
like
I will
that?
start to respond to that with a very controversial statement.
Okay.
You don't need financial capital to start a business.
Okay. I would love you to say more about that.
Okay, so I did the hierarchy of importance on the things you need to start up a business, right? And I was preparing a course then, the 70 things you need to do before starting a business. On that hierarchy, the most important thing on a global standard, financial capital is number 42 on it. Because you see, you need to understand.
Hello, good afternoon.
All right. Sorry, sir. Good afternoon.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, sir. Your name and where are you calling us from?
Yeah, my name is Binga. I'm calling from Ishoka State.
All right. Mr. Binga, thank you for calling.
Please, I want our guests to explain the emotional spending for us again, please. Because the people is hearing in my office now what we have just concluded now.
All right. We'll definitely do that.
Emotional spending, yeah.
Thank you, sir. We'll do that. All right, Mr. Ayokule, I would
Okay.
love you to go
So
back to
what emotional spending means is that you spending out of pity. Your spending is not from logic. Your spending is not from you seeing that this thing is really, really needed, for you to spend on, but you're spending just necessarily because I just feel this, I don't want to hurt this person, or I just want to be there. And you see, one of the proof that you've just made an emotional spending is that after making the expenditure, something within you will say, I shouldn't have spent that money. That's how to identify emotional spending. So you're spending out of emotions, you're spending out of feelings, not logic. There's no corresponding value to match up with the money that you've just released. That is emotional spending.
Okay. In a situation, I asked this question.
I want us to go back to that.
Yes.
Capital question.
Yes, we'll go back to
Okay.
it most definitely.
Yeah.
Still talking about emotional spending.
Okay.
Now, would you say cravings also come under emotional spending, and then maybe family and charity at times for people who are listening again?
Okay, so for cravings, it's necessarily not fully emotional. Like I said, spend from 50% of your expenditure, save 30, the remaining 20, any necessary razzmatazz should fall under that 20. And once that 20 is exhausted on your budget, any other spending you're spending, any other expenditure you're making is going to be eating into your savings. And when you don't have a savings, you are not safe.
Okay. Yes. Once
So
don't
you
a
have
saving-
cravings, you want to give to daddy, you want to give to mommy, you want to be the big uncle, you want to be the big cousin, you want to do this, you want to do that. Let it be under that 20.
So once you exit that 20, you are not touching. That is all.
Exactly.
Won't you be the bad guy?
The truth of the matter is they will forget that you were once a bad guy when you have. You see, we are in a state of or we are in a country whereby people only gravitate towards where they receive, not where they give. So if you are the person that gives, you will discover that you will have a lot of friends.
Go around you.
I'm in that WhatsApp group. So I know what I'm saying. I know where I'm speaking from. And you see, there will be a certain level in life. If you are not from an advantageous background, at least for a period of 5 to 8 years, depending on how back your back is on the ground, you need to be very, very cruel with your finance, and you need to be very, very intentional. Because you see, you are just half cup filled. If you keep giving to other cups, you will get empty. They will not be filled. But when you overflow, right, you keep giving to them, and you will also not run dry. So you must give your finance a certain level of maturity and prosperity for you to be able to be that person you really desire to be for your family. If not, you will discover that you don't have enough, they don't have enough, and everybody is doing from pillar to post. Let me try this.
So eventually, who is coming to save who?
So nobody's coming to save everybody. But once you are so firm with your decision-making process when it comes to your finance, and you take a period to deliberately build your finance. I'm not teaching you what I don't do. Currently, in the last 2 years, I give to my siblings and family like I'm doing charity to an outsider. Necessarily because I know that I'm in that season of my life, I need to start building wealth. So you need to know your season. Like I said earlier, you need to know, I said, when you wake up about your finance, that is when your financial journey starts. That's the morning of your financial journey. So when you start asking yourself, how do I build wealth? What are the capacities around my destiny as a person? What are the value I have to the marketplace?
Okay.
Right? What can I sell? What can I do to earn money? and you start believing that what comes in, you can use it to expand what you get money for, what you use in getting money, right? And you start saying, okay, I want to start savings, I want to start investing, I want to start diversifying. When you get to that stage, at that level, your finance is in a very, very critical situation and in a very, very fragile state, that when you pull out of it based on emotional spending, you will discover that what you're trying to build will crash. You yourself, you will lose energy. Thirdly, you will not be able to even meet up with the request appetite of those that you're willing to even be the good guy for.
All right. Thank you. I want to believe Mr. Benga and every other person outside already got the message when it comes to emotional spending. Very quickly, we're saying something about capital.
Yeah.
Yes, I would love you to continue.
So, like I said, number 42 was where financial capital plays in. You see, when you're starting out a business, there are a lot of factors you need to put into consideration. The first thing is you need to even understand your business case. What is my business about? You need to run an industry analysis. What are the key players in my industries? I always tell people, when you're starting out a business, start from the top 10 and then the bottom 10.
Top 10.
Yeah, you learn the winning strategies from the top 10. You learn the mistakes not to make from the bottom 10.
Profound, yes.
That's number 2. Number 3, what's the vision of your business? Your vision, your mission, your core value. Right? Number 4, you need to understand market analysis. Like I said, what goes in your market, Number 5, you need to understand your market size. What is the potential customer size of my market? Take, for example, you're selling food now. Everybody will say everybody in Nigeria eats food. The truth of the matter is there are some people that goes to bed very hungry. It's not everybody in Nigeria that is your market. Target market, target audience. All right?
Okay.
So it depends on what you're trying to build. And that goes all and on and on and on. Right? From your operational strategies to your branding, right? It's a whole lot. It's all encompassing. Then you now need to also, start building prototypes. You need to build prototype. Let's say maybe you're into shoemaking now. You need to, that's where, your savings playing. If you have been very, very prudent with your financial journey so far, you have, a stipulated amount of money somewhere you could really rush into, spool out from, get to start, doing a prototype, start giving people for sampling, and start receiving feedbacks. The feedbacks you're receiving are the testimonials about your brand. That is indirect influential marketing. Have you really necessarily spent one big money? No. So the most painful mental construct that most startups have given to their self, or the mental challenge most startups has given to their self, is that I need finance before I start. Even in relationship, without finance, there's no romance. We understand. But in business, you need to understand that you could leverage. There's something called leverage. Even at a startup, you could use OPM, you could use OPT. OPM is other people's money. OPT is other people's time. So there are a whole lot of things you could leverage on. If you want us to go deep,
I would
deeper.
love us to go deep, and I don't know if we'll be able to have Mr. Ayokole back on the show next week Monday. If we'll be able to have him back, we'll let you know. But our time is fast spent. I just wanted to say something on people saying that you also have to pay yourself salary.
Yes.
What do you have to say to that?
Paying yourself salary is 25% of your profit.
Okay.
So that means, let's take for example, you make a gross income of 100 million, right? Your profit is maybe about 35 million, right? So your paying yourself is 25% of 35 million. That should be around maybe 10 million naira thereabout.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help. I'm not good at mathematics. All right, you've heard it from the man himself. When I said a financial expert, I know you already believe me now. He has a lot to say. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe we'll be able to have him back on the show next week. But if yes, of course, you will be hearing from him again. That is how far we can go on Youth Arena. But before we say goodbye, we'll have to go on this quick break. We'll be right back. It's sad that we just have to wrap up the show. And so far, it has been amazing. We've get one or two things to learn from our honorable guest, Mr. Ojo Ayokunle. Yes, it is still the Youth Arena on Oxygen FM 96.9, where we inform, inspire, and ignite. Very quickly, I would love to hear from our guests. What will be your final words to the people? And yes, the icebreaker. It will be with us next week. I confirmed it already. Thank you. All right, so sir, what would you love to say to the listeners?
So, what I would like to say in my ending note is make money, or first of all, have value, make income, make profit, have a budget, save, build systems, and grow.
Thank you so much, sir. As we come to the end of today's program, remember this: financial success doesn't begin with you becoming rich. It begins the day you decide to become responsible with whatever you already have. Now, budgeting may not make you wealthy overnight. Saving may seem slow. Learning about money may take time. But every wise financial decision you make today is planting seeds for the future you want tomorrow. Good afternoon once again, and this has been Youth Arena on Oxygen FM 96.9. My name is SEYIFUNMI AKINNSANYA. Till next week. Be good. Bye.